Instructor Sergeant Tell finished his speech and looked over the recruits, all at attention in their gleaming dress uniforms, internally beaming with pride. No, not recruits as of a few minutes ago, now proud soldiers of the Ravix Empire. The graduation ceremony was only a small affair. The recruits would have to complete a minimum of one specialization before they would truly graduate and see active service, but it was still a milestone worth marking. A couple of speeches, a bit of saluting the brass, and time for the recruits to mingle a bit and say their farewells. They will likely not see one another after today, but no one ever forgets the friendships they made in basic, forged in the heat of shared misery. Tell took his place alongside the other instructors and took a moment to reflect while the current speaker droned on. He felt pride and sorrow in equal measure. The first interspecies group to go through basic was a success, although there were times that success was fragile. He himself had resented it at first too. Politics, interfering with tradition, was never a good thing. But they meshed together and pulled through as a team in the end, the pink human in particular. What a trooper that one was. Recruit Sam had established dominance amongst the others with her impromptu fighting skills on the very first night, proven herself fit and capable of keeping up with others twice her size, demonstrated superb stealth potential with the use of chromatophores, and used her formidable strength to dominate close quarters hand-to-talon combat. Then taking the other members of her outfit under her manipulator to help them keep up, proven impossibly skilled with eye-to-hand coordination to shoot down fast-moving flying targets without a targeter, was capable with a mech suit, and passed theoretical with top marks. In fact, the only area the human didn't excel at was the grenade range. To be fair, none of this recruit group did that well at the grenade range, not after the incident. Tell shuddered. There had been a lot of paperwork that afternoon, and more empty beds that night. All in all, just over half of the original recruits had made it through. Lots of his fellow Ravix had endured. About a third of the Zillion had made it through as well. The biggest cause of failure for them was the theoretical exams. One of the two squirish were graduating. The other had been forced out after receiving an injury that would take too long to heal. Tell hoped to see him try again in 1 or 2 cycles' time. And the pink one, obviously. With just a few more humans in their ranks, Tell was forced to admit that the forces would be revolutionized. The strength of the Empire would be secure. With the last speech done, and the recruits dismissed, Tell and the other instructors clustered around a single datapad, handed to him by the camp overseer. Now that the recruits no longer answered to the instructors, they could see who was applying for what specialization. They hadn't been allowed to know up until now to avoid favoritism or leniency towards individual recruits. Tell felt his triumph grow as prediction after prediction for each recruit was proven correct. This group might end up being his personal best for accuracy. With some confused muttering, one of the other instructors pointed out that recruit human Sam was not listed on the display. At all. Equally confused, Tell handed him the datapad. He would just have to ask Sam himself. Sam was hugging it out with another near-tears graduate, who had just finished copiously thanking her for helping him with his studies. She felt so loved right now. It was a real shame she would likely never see any of these people again, but the show must go on. It had been her intention to make new friends, but hadn't really thought about just how successful she had been, until now. It was a real eye-opener to her own strengths, as much as any of the training had been. Instructor Tell appeared, and hurried over to her, the other graduates respectfully clearing a path for him. He bluntly asked what specialization Sam had applied for, a look of hopeful expectation on his face. Everyone went silent. Everyone was curious to know what the mighty pink human had chosen. Sam haltingly explained that she was not going on to any specialization, but was in fact now finished with the Ravix forces. It was the closest thing to an adventure camp this part of the galaxy offered, and was returning to her schooling now that summer break was over. She wasn't old enough to join any military just yet. She was still a juvenile by her species standard. The silence was total. Sam was only 15.